Hi, Ali.
Hi, Nicole. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, I'm good, I'm good. So I'm just gonna jump straight into it. So Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to another Next Stand IG Live. I'm Nicole. I've been traveling for 5 years now, working online. And every month I get to sit down with entrepreneurs, ergonomic experts, digital nomads to talk about their journeys to where they are now, and also tips on how you can relieve your neck pain and live a very pain-free life while you're working. So on that note, just drop it in. You can get 10% off next stand if you're a new customer. So go to the link in bio. Don't forget to get one if you don't have one already. And I will introduce our guest today. So
Mhm.
Ali Reynolds is from Your Perfect Posture. So go over to her channel after and give her a follow. She has 18 years worth of experience in physiotherapy and helping people relieve pain and get their posture perfect back, which is exactly what we do at Next Stand as well. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Ali. So hi, Ali, where are you based?
Oh, thanks, Nicole. I'm in Canberra, the capital of Australia. Not many people know that. They think it's Sydney or Melbourne, but Canberra is where all the politicians come. And yes, I'm a mum of two, also a physiotherapist. And I absolutely love the Next Stand brand. So thank you for inviting me on here. I
Welcome.
just love helping people prevent pain, improving posture. I think education is key. The more knowledge we get out there, the better. And yeah, my primary focus now, I've got two boys, age 7 and 10. And they love their screens, which a lot of kids do.
Mm,
And so my primary focus now is looking at how they're interacting with the technology because it's coming out rapidly, and I just don't feel like there's enough education for teachers, for parents, for our young kids and their developing spines. So the more education, the better. And I just love teaching about ergonomics and posture. So that's where I'm at. My kids are sort of my inspiration to get into schools. I really want to educate all the high schools, primary schools, because they're starting as young as 4 working at the
oh,
school on a tablet.
wow.
So
Oh, really?
yeah, so that's
Wow.
young, right? Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
So
gosh,
that's I
that
was
has
shocked too.
changed
Yeah.
since I was at school.
Yes, yes, exactly. Same. I think I got a laptop when I was like 13 or 14 and we hardly used it. We had the home computer.
Mhm.
And what a lot of people don't, I really feel like if you're, given a laptop, it should have a big warning sign on the lid that says, warning, don't use this laptop without some education, and
Yeah.
that's where, we come in with our, laptop stands and our external devices. So
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like we're just, handing out laptops and Chromebooks to our kids and not really educating them. But it's probably not their fault or our fault, just that the technology is coming really quickly.
Yeah.
And then, you've got, there's, phone use, tablets, Chromebooks, laptops, TVs,
Mhm.
PCs. It's just never ending. So, yeah, and there's just no sort of um, book that tells us what to do. So we just have to educate
Oh,
ourselves and
that's really
upskill
crazy.
ourselves.
Yeah, that's
Mm,
actually, I actually am really shocked by that because when I was at school,
yes.
like 15 years ago, I
Yep.
remember we
Yep.
had one room in the whole school that had some PCs in it. And I don't think I had a laptop until I was like 17. Um, and like, yeah, so to hear about 4-year-olds on tablets,
Yes.
that's so shocking to me.
I know, and same, and I don't think I got a phone until I was about 16 or 17, but the
Mhm.
kids are getting them at 7 or 8
Yeah.
or 12 when they start high school. So, and
Wow.
I've seen babies on phones, 1 or 2 year olds in the pram watching a phone,
Mm.
just to so that the parent can get things done. But I think, look, it's okay. We just have to educate ourselves and work out the best way to use it. And I guess I'm really, as a physio, really concentrating on the growth of the spine and
Mm.
how it's actually, we've got tech neck. The new terminology is now nerd neck, which I heard the other day, which I thought, nerd neck, oh my goodness. So it's where the spine isn't actually growing in
Oh.
the curves that it should be growing. So yeah, so that's it. Everyone sort of,
Mhm.
you feel that little lump there at the base of your neck,
Yeah.
and for a lot of you shouldn't really feel that lump. That shouldn't be protruded.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I feel
So
it when I'm like slouched. I
yes,
don't feel it when I'm up.
that's it. It disappears when you sit upright, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I just looking around, I can generally tell which sort of teenagers are gamers, you know, which ones are on screens
Mm,
a lot of the day just by their posture. So they've got the rounded shoulder and the forward, it's called the forward head posture,
mm.
or I liken them to a turtle. So that's really scary though, because we'd see that posture in older people, right? So you've been
Yeah.
working at a desk for 40 or 50 years and perhaps you've had bad posture, and
Mhm.
you know, in your 70s you might get a patient come in with this sort of rounded neck, but now we're
Mm.
seeing some 18-year-olds with it, which is
Wow.
really scary because their spines are fusing,
Yeah.
and you know, they're growing the wrong way. So
Mhm.
once you've got an imbalance in the muscles and the vertebrae, it's impossible to sort of reverse that once the vertebrae are fused. So
Oh
that's
wow. Oh
that's one of
really?
the
So
big
is that
reasons. Yeah,
actually, yeah, so
yeah.
with when it comes to like development of the spine then, if
Mm.
you have that curvature in your neck and spine at 18,
Mm.
can you correct that?
No,
Oh
no.
gosh.
I've got my spine
Wow.
here. I know. Look, can you see my spine?
Yeah.
So this is your head or your
Hmm.
skull. Yep. So
Yeah.
this is a lovely curve in your neck. So you're meant to have a lovely S curve. Your spine is an S curve.
Hmm.
So this is a natural curve. This is
Mm.
your back, your lower back. That's a lordosis.
Hmm.
And that's the shape, the S curve. But now we're
Mm.
seeing that, yeah, your neck is more like that now. So you
Yeah.
can imagine that, yeah. And behind here is your spinal cord, really important structure.
Hmm.
You've got blood vessels, arteries, things
Hmm.
that can get kinked off back there.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm really worried about. Like we're not, we haven't got the studies yet because you know they're not old enough yet,
Mm.
so our little ones that are using, you know, the 4-year-olds that start on tablets, they're not
Hmm.
50 yet, but we're actually seeing them, you know, the problems when they're sort of 18, 20.
Wow.
But I'm worried that it's not reversible. So as a
Yeah,
physio,
yeah.
you know, you're going to come in and see me and I'll be like, oh, I'm really sorry, we should have taught you about screens, you know, when you were 5 or
Yeah.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, so that's the big issue that
Hmm.
that I, you know, really want to address, that we just, as parents, you know, we've got children or students studying at home. So you might think, okay, they're all set up at school, but are they set up at home correctly? Because, you know,
Yeah.
they're doing homework, and a lot of, you know, most of the work is on laptops now, right? I don't really see many older students writing away. So it's
Hmm.
all typing. And you know, texting, it's all on devices, so it's all our tech use that we yeah, we need to just be more aware of. And half the issue is being aware. So when you get sucked and drawn into your phone, just, you know, holding your phone up to eye level would be a simple trick.
And on that note, I am actually going to raise my phone a bit because I've like the whole
I
time
love
thinking
it.
I'm tapping my neck.
Yes,
There we go.
yes, good
We
girl.
actually have a
Yeah.
question. So Mummy
Oh,
Jobs
good.
Australia asked, is this something we can reverse in our teen kids?
And our teen kids. So when you say reverse, as in like their posture, so it sounds like perhaps you've already noticed that your child has rounded shoulders and they have that forward neck posture. Absolutely. Let's start now, as soon as possible. So just observing them when they are interacting with their tech use. So you know, looking at them when they're using their phone. I know it's embarrassing, but asking them to raise the phone up to eye level, or you know,
Mhm.
you can put underneath their elbows to help at eye level. When they're working from home on a laptop. So I've got lots of tips for that. We can talk about that if you want. So if I just call it the laptop on the desk syndrome, never just have a laptop sitting on the desk, right? Your eyes are not connected to your hands. So what you need to do immediately is prop the laptop up to eye level. Yep. So that needs to go up. You can chuck some books under there, or you can buy a very inexpensive next stand laptop stand, and put that laptop up to eye level. And then we need to get an external keyboard and an external mouse. And they're not expensive. Like you know, that you can buy fun, cute little colors like this. And ideally you want a compact keyboard, which do you know what that is, Nicole? You would know what it is, because I think Nextstand I think they have a
Yeah,
compact keyboard
the
actually
base,
in their
yeah, the
bundle, in the
base
base
12.
12.
Hmm.
Yes. So a compact keyboard is a shorter keyboard with no number pad. so that it allows your mouse hand to be directly in front of your shoulder. So I don't know if you can
Mhm.
see me there, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
rather than
Hmm.
out here, you don't want air under your arm there, because that causes strain on your neck and shoulder. So as soon as
Yeah.
you go like that and have your mouse directly in front of you,
Hmm.
you're automatically reducing that strain. So a compact keyboard and a mouse will
Hmm.
definitely improve your posture. So one tip, even if you're not going to raise your laptop, is just get your child to use a mouse.
Hmm.
So a mouse instead of a trackpad, a mouse automatically improves neck, shoulder, and wrist position and posture. So I think these are like $5. You can buy a mouse online from Officeworks, up to $11. You don't need anything fancy. So that's my aim, actually, to get a mouse into every child's hand in every school in Australia. I hope that
Hmm.
answered some of the
Yeah, I think
question. If
that
you,
was a really good
yeah,
answer, I think. Mummy
good,
Jobs Australia says thanks, such important information. Thank you so much. So yeah, that was a really good question.
good,
And then
good.
so on that with so your mission then, do you work with schools directly to try and get these products into them?
Yes, that's my goal. That's my mission this
Hmm.
year. So I've got my children go to the local primary school. So I'm approaching them and saying, as a mother and physiotherapist, can I come in? And I want to do some free training for them, because obviously
Hmm.
educating the kids as well. I'll take my spine in and get them talking about posture, and maybe they get a gold star if they're sitting up or looking out for each other.
Hmm.
And I want to try and educate the kids, but also the teachers. The
Hmm.
teachers get really little to no ergonomics education, and that's what I'm finding. Teachers don't think of their work as a workplace. They think of it as a school, and it's all about the kids. But the
Hmm.
problem with schools is that it's very everything's little. The furniture is
Yeah.
little, the chairs, the desk. So teachers are silently getting back pain. They're sitting on little chairs, leaning over and typing, writing, doing marking assignments.
Hmm.
They don't have a proper work set up. Whereas if you had an office job,
Hmm.
you'd get a tailored workstation assessment, right? Someone would come along and say, "Yep, you've got your mouse there, you've got the right height." But I feel like teachers have been forgotten. I don't know
Yeah.
whether it's funding. I don't know.
Hmm.
What's
Well,
it
that's
like
no, that's true.
over,
That's
like,
true actually, because
yeah,
when I think
yeah.
about like my friends who are teachers, they spend hours and hours every single week like marking, and it's a bit
Mm,
insane actually in the UK how much they work. And actually, yeah, we never consider them as like the work from home people. And
yes,
yet they are, and we never consider them as the office people either. So they are doing all of that laptop work, and it is like, yeah, they don't.
exactly.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah. So the first thing I would want to do is I want to take a neck stand into every teacher, because their office is portable, right? So they might be,
Hmm.
holding a laptop and talking to a classroom and then moving to the library, or so I would love them to have a stand so that they're not crouched over. Because I've seen
Yeah.
teachers, they're on the laptop on their lap,
Yeah.
and then
Hmm.
they have a desk, but no one's set up their desk. Like, and then next year a new teacher comes in and sits at that desk, and they're not the same height or weight, or have the
No.
same requirements. Like,
Hmm.
I've actually, as a physio, I've never been asked to go into a school to do an ergonomic assessment for a teacher, which seems bizarre, because I go and I see accountants and I see,
Yeah.
yeah, office workers, but
Hmm.
they're still counted, and they're still they need the help. So
Yeah, definitely.
that would be, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So getting teachers aware as well. So I'd love to do some training for teachers, and then hopefully that will just trickle down, and the students will be like, well, we're on
Hmm.
our tech as well, so we need some training
Yeah,
as well. So
definitely. And
yes,
I also noticed that because I haven't been in a school in a really long time. The last time I was in a school was when I was teaching in Vietnam. So it was like a different like setup anyway. But
yeah,
I never like saw computers like at the teacher's desks. So like
yeah,
is that kind of common now in the setup that they would have a laptop on the desk, and or in
yes,
the class in the staff room as well? Like is that a very like
yes, yes,
common? Hmm.
yeah. Well, at our school, it's a primary school, they have like a little hub where there's,
Hmm.
like, say, 4 desks that the teachers would go back to, at the end of the day.
Um,
And there might
mhm,
be a laptop or there might be a computer, depending on
mhm.
what they're using. But they definitely have their laptops, on their laps when they're during the day for their notes and things. But
Mhm.
also, like I said to my 10-year-old, I said, how do you use your Chromebooks? They use Chromebooks. And he
Ah.
said, oh, they're
Mhm.
just sitting on the desk. Yeah. So they're just
Mhm.
sitting on the desk. Or he said, or we sit them on our laps. And I thought, oh, I've got to get into this school and teach them about, not doing that so much.
Mhm.
Although kids often move around a lot. And maybe that brings us to some correct seating
Yeah.
in schools, because I was looking at,
Mhm.
and that's really important, right? Because their spines are growing. We want them to keep their S curve. We don't
Mhm.
want them all hunched over like a C curve. We want to keep
No.
their curves correct. So
Mhm.
the chairs that my 10-year-old sits on are just some hard plastic chairs that have
Mhm.
no lumbar support. And I asked him, I said, what kind of, how would you like to sit at school? What would
Mhm.
make it, more comfortable? And he talked about the active wobble chairs. Have you seen or heard of them?
Oh, I have no, wait, I'm going to Google this
Oh,
now. I have no idea.
yeah,
Active wobble chair.
yeah.
Well,
Or wobble stool.
maybe I've seen it, but
They're
in
just,
a different name. Oh no, I've never seen this. That's
yeah,
really cool. It's like for people who can't see this, it's like a almost like a bar stool, but I guess it like
yes.
moves around.
It does, yes, it
Oh
does,
wow.
and the child sort of, yeah, it's great. A lot of kids with, that are a bit fidgety and hyperactive, like
Hmm.
neurodivergent children with like
Mm.
ADHD, can be provided with one. But
Ah,
actually, I feel like most children should have the option to use these, because kids learn through
mhm.
movement.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for them to sit all day, and do,
Hmm.
do nothing. They need to be moving. They're getting oxygen to their brain,
Hmm.
and for those children that like, standing up or getting off their chair, that's a great option for them.
Yeah.
And they don't need that back support that adults do. So I would never recommend a wobble stool for an adult sitting
Ah,
at a
okay,
desk,
okay.
doing
I won't
computer
order
work.
one
So,
then.
oh yeah, oh no, don't, no,
I
don't get,
was like, oh, that looks
you
fun.
can, you could, but don't sit on it for 8 hours
Got
a
it.
day. You could just sit on it for a little bit while you're, doing your gaming, you're playing your Mario Kart or something. But
Mhm.
yeah, so that's
Mhm.
a really so that's one thing with schools, is that they just have these hard, rigid plastic chairs. And it would be great to have more active dynamic seating
Mhm.
for those kids that want to
Mhm.
move around a bit more. And I feel like they would concentrate more, because they're getting more oxygen to the brain. They feel
Mhm.
like they're sort of more in control, rather than just being stuck in a chair,
Yeah, definitely.
listening.
It gives
They're
them
sort
more
of, yeah,
freedom. Yeah. I mean, I
exactly.
remember when I was at school, like I would always like cross my I was always moving, like crossing my legs. Like it was, yeah.
Yes,
Mummy's Job
yeah.
Australia asked a wobble. I think we covered this a little bit, but she said a wobble store's good. My daughter uses one.
This is one. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Really
Mhm.
good. So once your daughter starts, needing back support though, so, after say the age of 15 or 16, that's when we get into, we want an ergonomic chair with a lumbar support,
Mhm.
height adjustable. We want to make sure everything's, correctly set up. So ergonomics is really just about 90-degree angles. It's very easy to
Ah.
remember. You want to have your forearms,
Yeah.
yeah, so you want your forearms parallel with the desk or the ground.
Mhm.
So you don't want to be T-rexing like this, because that puts strain
Mhm.
unnecessarily on your wrist extensors. So having this angle at 90 degrees, and then having your hips and knees at 90 degrees, and your feet flat on something.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be the floor, it could be a footrest. So, and that will bring me then to, let's talk about desks for children,
Yeah. Hmm.
because yeah, because there's, I don't know, I was trying to buy my 10-year-old a desk,
Hmm.
that's not too expensive, that will grow with
Hmm.
him, and I found it very difficult. So I guess the latest trend is the sit
Hmm.
stand desk, and I know they can be a little bit pricey, but I
Hmm.
feel like putting the investment in early, if you've got, a couple of kids that are going to be, working their way up in height
Hmm.
and through school and study, then I would invest in a sit stand desk for your child. And they actually have child size desks.
Hmm.
We have an Australian company here called Desky, and they have children's size desks. And what you really want to do is make sure you get the sitting height correct,
Hmm.
because a lot of desks are too high. So for example, the dining room table, you might have kids working at the dining room table way too high. They're
Hmm.
generally 76 centimeters, which is T-rexing, you're going to get a lot of pain.
Ah,
So
yeah.
so look, when you go and look for a desk, look at the seated height. So don't worry so much about the standing height, but the seated height has to be correct. So
Hmm.
you would sit on a seat and put your elbows at 90 degrees, and you would measure down from your hand to the ground, and that would be your desk height. So yeah, I can do some more research on sit stand desk, but just if it's a cheap desk, just be careful and look at the sitting height, because IKEA sells some really good sit stand desks, but you
Hmm.
pay a little bit more to get the bigger range for the
Yeah.
sitting and the standing.
It's worth investing in, especially like in things that the children are going to be growing with as well. So yeah. Hmm.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, because they're growing, and then as they grow, you just lift the desk up. And then great, they have the option to sit and stand, so that when they get to
Hmm.
uni, or they want to work from home, they've got this beautiful sit stand desk that everyone, or
Yeah.
you can give it to the next sibling, the
Hmm.
next 8-year-old
Yeah,
that
yeah,
needs the
yeah.
desk, and
Well,
then
I was
work
just
your way up.
thinking then, like, they can, yeah, of course, they can take it to university as well, because I mean,
Yeah.
I remember like dorms and university. I mean, just dorms are like terrible situations in dorms, but like be able to take one of those desks with you that's completely already set up and ergonomic is brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Mhm.
it's a good investment, but yeah, just make sure you measure the sitting height. So, but if you do end up, or you have bought a desk, and the sitting height is too high,
Mhm.
there's ways around it. So you can use a footrest or books underneath your feet,
Mhm.
and lift yourself up in the chair as high as you can, and then sit on a cushion,
Mhm.
if you're really desperate. So when my kids were working from home on the dining table
Mhm.
during COVID, I had cushions everywhere. There were cushions
Ah,
on the back, there were cushions
mhm.
underneath them, there was Lego boxes underneath their feet, because I didn't have access to a sit stand desk.
Mhm.
Then we were all locked down. So so there are ways around it.
Mm.
So yeah, I perhaps need to get like a flyer or something that I can send out
No,
to
that's good
parents,
to,
because
yeah, that's really good
yeah.
advice. Hmm.
So
And then,
yeah, it's really oh,
oh
sorry.
no, no, I was gonna say,
No, you,
so you talk
you go.
about
No, you go.
T-Rex. You talk about T-Rex
Oh yeah,
hands quite
T.
a lot, and it made me like think about a lot of people. Sometimes they forget. I know we mentioned keyboards earlier, but a lot of people do forget when they buy a neck stand or they buy another laptop stand, is that they really should have the keyboard with it, because sometimes you do see people sometimes
Yes.
trying to work like this,
Yes.
and I
I
guess
know.
that comes into the T-Rex hands kind of.
Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely. Yes. No, we talk about laptop stands, but then we forget to say the rest. External keyboard and mouse, please. Yeah,
Hmm.
don't work on your laptop up at eye level. Like that's sort of defeating the purpose. Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. But yeah, just getting things that are height adjustable is really
Hmm.
important. So,
Hmm.
and I love the neck stand because the laptops overheat. So if you've got, like, I used to have my cookbooks underneath my laptop, but
Hmm.
thankfully the design of it, you get great airflow. And I
Yeah.
feel like the neck stand, like your tagline should be like, a laptop stand that actually goes up to eye level, because I
Hmm.
bought other laptop stands that are still too low,
Oh,
and I must
really?
have a really long torso. So I'm like, why? I've just bought a lap. Why is it not working? And yours just goes up. Like
Oh, that's
I'm
good.
5'9",
Hmm.
and like it goes up to a perfect
Oh,
level,
that's
and you've got all the
perfect.
different heights. So
Hmm.
I give, when I'm not at working from home, I let my my 8-year-old use it. So then I just lower it down, and then I can go back up high too. So that's another great advantage of investing the time
Mm.
researching, buying something, rather than you know having
Yeah,
two
and
or three or
it's
four.
not, yeah,
We just
exactly.
need
It's like
one.
multi-use, yeah,
Yeah,
multi-use for things.
exactly.
And so
Yeah.
with whether like whether students are at home or at school, what are some little exercises that they should be doing between
Oh,
because I know that we have to take
yes,
study breaks and we need to
we
take work
do.
breaks, because
Indeed,
I
indeed. And that's the thing about posture. So posture is so dynamic. It's not just about
Mhm.
how you're sitting. I don't want anyone sitting like this for 8 hours a day.
Mm.
Every 30 minutes or so, if you can try and alternate your posture, or do a few stretches, get some blood flow in, that would be great. There is the 20-20-20 rule. You've heard of that?
Maybe
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 not.
someone else told me this, but I no,
Yes,
tell me
maybe.
again, refresh
Yeah,
my memory.
James. Yeah, yes. So every 20 minutes, so maybe set a timer on your Outlook calendar or your phone. So
Hmm.
every 20 minutes, take a 20-second break,
Um,
look
mhm.
outside, something 20 meters away. Or if
Mhm.
you can't do that, if you're in a room with no windows, blink 20 times. Just have a little micro break. So
Mhm.
20 minutes, 20 seconds or 20 meters away. And yeah, just refresh the eyes. Yeah, it's great to just keep moving, because
Mhm.
motion is lotion. That's sort of what I tell my clients. So you've got to keep moving your body. We weren't actually
Mhm.
made to just sit at a desk for 8 hours a day.
No,
It's just,
no. Hmm.
it's not good
I
for
had
anyone, even if you are sitting perfectly.
yeah. I had a really good setup yesterday. I rarely do this. It's so like digital nomady, but I honestly rarely do this. I took my laptop upstairs and there's a swimming pool up there and there's a desk. So I
Nice.
was like working for half an hour. I swam for a little bit. I
Well,
worked for half an hour. I swam for a little. I never ever like do that,
oh,
but that was a perfect like situation.
that is perfect. And I think a lot of people don't, like, they think, oh, I've got a perfect setup and
Mhm.
I'm sitting at my desk and like, it's just great to have autonomy over your work.
Yeah.
Like, I work from home. And I've got, a family and a dog. So every 20 minutes or so, I'll get up and, like, I'll put the washing on, or I'll quickly,
Mhm.
wash up my coffee cup, or I'll get a cup of water,
Mhm.
or I'll, don't tell my employer I'm doing all this, but no, I'm joking. But I'm always taking these micro breaks. I definitely get my
Yeah.
work done.
Hmm.
But yeah, so it's more about breaking up the day. And I did see
Yeah.
some facts where if you do 10 body squats every 45
Oh,
minutes, that's
oh,
even better than doing a 30-minute walk. So that was
that's
interesting.
good to
So
know.
yes,
Hmm.
so I've been started doing body
Hmm.
squats, 10 squats every 45 minutes. Well, every time I can
Hmm.
remember.
Hmm.
And it's really just trying
Just
to flow
start
movement
moving.
into your day,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, same with kids, if they're on their
Hmm.
devices. We all talk about screen time, how much screen
Hmm.
time are our kids getting. And I saw some research yesterday, which I probably would believe, but apparently kids in the US are watching 9 hours of screens
I
a
can
day,
see that.
which
Yeah.
is,
I can imagine.
yeah, did you see that?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it does all add up though, right? So
Hmm.
they're on their screens at school, 5 or 6 hours,
Yeah.
in the morning, they might be gaming, they might be,
Hmm.
playing at night. I mean, just your
Yeah.
phone, you look at your phone
Well,
use,
this is the
two
thing.
hours
I
a
actually
day.
was gonna, yeah, I actually was gonna say, one another thing that I like I see so many people like of my friends do as well is that they take screen break, well, they take laptop breaks, but then they just end up looking at their
Ah,
phone for five
yeah.
minutes, and that's their screen break.
Yes.
And people
Oh,
forget
yeah.
like this is it's every single screen, like all of these things are
Oh.
making you look down.
Exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. And that's another key point, is that we're looking at our kids on screens, but what about our own screen use? So,
Hmm.
you look at how long you spend on your screen, and like 2.5 hours a day, it says I spend on my phone. I think, oh my gosh,
Hmm.
I could have been doing a run, or, saving the world. Like, that's a lot of time just scrolling, right?
Hmm.
So we have to look at our own screen time, and definitely, I no screens in bed. That's sort of a
Hmm.
big key,
Hmm.
because you've also got the blue light that keeps kids awake.
Yeah, disturbs.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
and definitely, try not to have screens or phones in their bedroom. Like,
Mm.
get it out of their bedroom, so that if they wake up in the night, they're not, scrolling, because it
Tempted,
does
yeah.
disturb their sleep as well. Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
so
also,
when I was younger, I like when I remember when I was in like high school when I actually had a mobile phone. Um I because I went through a phase of texting like boys late at night and all these things and
oh yeah,
just like high school stuff. And
yeah,
I remember like it got so I was so used to hearing that vibrating phone sound that I would
yeah.
wake up and like late in the night thinking my phone had gone off when it hadn't. And it was just because I was so
Wow.
used, like it was honestly, it was good. And like,
Yes,
so I can't
yes.
even imagine now, like with social media
Oh,
and with everything, like
oh.
how children, are very young children as well, are like used to that technology everywhere and how it's like
Yeah,
messing
absolutely.
with
All the
the brain a
notifications.
bit.
Exactly. And that's what they
Hmm.
say. It's like a dopamine hit every time they watch like a YouTube short, or,
Hmm.
a reel. It's like they get this flutter. It's like being, when you at the poke, well, I'm not at the pokies, but people that gamble, they're
Hmm.
on the poker machines, and, three bananas come up and do do do. And that's how they
Yeah.
feel when they're watching these YouTube shorts, and on to the next one.
Hmm.
So their attention span is already reduced. Now they can only
Hmm.
listen for sort of, 30 seconds, if that. That's probably a long YouTube
Yeah.
short, maybe a 5 or second one, they love that ASMR and everything. And that impacts their concentration over time. But also another important thing is their eyesight. So when they're looking at a screen so close, sort of 10 centimeters away, kids are developing this early condition called myopia, where
Ah,
the muscles of the eyes aren't developing properly because they're
oh,
not looking long distance,
oh,
and they're
wow.
just looking at a screen so
Mhm.
close. Exactly. And another thing that a sleep therapist told me
Mhm.
was that with our kids with this forward head posture, it impacts the how the jaw forms, and then how the tongue sits in the mouth,
Mm,
and then impacts children's sleep.
mm.
So it really affects everything, doesn't it?
Yeah,
This whole
yeah. It's
development of.
everything is so connected.
Mm, yeah, so it's scary.
Mhm.
I'm thinking, gosh, and kids sleeping with their mouth open because they, and I
Yeah,
try. I've
yeah.
got ergonomic. Yeah, yeah, you've got to try and.
Mhm.
I've seen people put tape on their mouth to
Mm,
try and stop them from snoring and using their nose to sleep, which seems
mhm.
to help. But I've got ergonomic pillows for my kids because kids'
Oh,
pillows are rubbish. I don't know if you have ever
what's an
tried to
ergon?
buy a children's
I've never
pillow.
heard of an ergonomic pillow. Tell me
Oh,
what's an ergonomic pillow?
yes. Well, there's a great company here called Posture Form. So they're
Mhm.
Aussie, and I used to sell them actually when I was selling things,
Mhm.
but then Amazon sort of took over the
Google
selling
that.
selling of products. So, but yeah, Posture Form pillows, and they're just
Uh,
beautiful. They've got
mhm.
they're not just they're not flat. They've got a
Mm,
lovely curve that it supports your neck.
mhm.
And they do children's ones. So I've got both my
Oh,
boys sleeping on an ergonomic pillow.
oh,
So,
that's really
and
good.
that's it's a good investment because, you can
Mm,
buy pillows, from Target or Kmart, but they're just rubbish. They just, so at
mhm.
least we know we're supporting their neck for 8 hours a day when they're
Yeah,
sleeping.
yeah.
So,
Because I used to sleep on like really like stacked pillows, and then in recent years, when I discovered that's it's quite bad for your neck if you're sleeping like this all the time. So I actually sleep with just like one very flat pillow now to try it. Like, but
yes,
actually, these pillows are very good, I guess, if you still want that cushion as well.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
So it really just rests your head in there. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I would always go flatter as well, because if you've got too many, yeah, you're going to be
Mhm.
pushed up, and even people that sleep on their tummy and they have to put their head to the side, they
Yeah.
often have neck problems.
Ah,
So
yeah.
if you
Mhm.
can try and
Mhm.
teach your kids not to sleep on their tummy, side or back, is best.
Mhm.
So there's even sleeping, good ways to sleep, but it's unusual to, not unusual, but all this comes out when you're learning all about
Yeah,
posture. It's like, oh, I didn't even
yeah,
think that sleep came into it, but of
definitely,
course it does.
definitely. And I mean
Hmm.
this, and also this, I mean the spine is just connected to every part of our body, and it's really like such
Exactly.
a complex, important like really, really, really important structure in our body. And so to look after it is
Exactly.
kind of like a foundation.
Yes, agreed. And I was talking about our spinal cord and the nerves that come out.
Mm.
So I haven't even talked about a vertical mouse yet.
Oh
Do you
gosh,
use a vertical mouse,
I,
Nicole? Or
I
have you heard
I'm
of
not
have
sure.
you heard of them? Ah! Okay. All right, so I'm going to
I
teach
use a
you.
mouse.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Uh yeah, yeah. No, so a vertical mouse is a mouse that's tipped on its
Oh,
side, right?
yeah, yeah, I know this one. Yeah.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. So you're a woman and
Mm,
you're quite petite,
mm,
so you
mm.
should definitely be using a vertical mouse. So women are three times more likely to develop carpal tunnel than men,
Yeah.
because carpal tunnel is the
Uh-huh.
tunnel that runs through your wrist,
Yeah.
where all your lovely nerves and tendons run through. So
Hmm.
as a woman, our tunnel is automatically narrower. And
Mm,
if you're a very petite woman,
hmm.
or if you're pregnant, because you get more fluid going around your body,
Hmm.
then you're more prone to carpal tunnel. So as a preventative, I always just use a vertical mouse. So it puts your hand in a nice neutral handshake
Hmm.
posture. So see, when you use a normal mouse, it twists the forearm over.
Hmm.
So this is a normal mouse. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
sure if I'm very close. So yeah, so if you just do that now, and it's a lovely handshake posture. So it
Mm.
takes all the pressure off the wrist and the carpal tunnel,
Ah,
and you use
that's
your
really good.
shoulder muscles
Yeah,
more,
yeah.
rather
That's I
than.
didn't know that. I didn't know this about for women in particular. Like I've seen those
Mm,
mouses, but I just have a standard mouse. But
oh
I've seen these
yes.
other mouses, and I kind of thought, oh, because I have a standard one, like that's fine. But actually,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I
No,
still get like, because I write a lot of content, so like my wrists really do like at the end of the day, sometimes they do hurt still, even with a mouse,
yes,
because it's just like a lot
yes.
of repetitive movements. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yes. So no. So I love preventing injuries because I normally go out and do assessments with people who say, "Oh, I'm getting pins and needles and tingling in my fingers," and I think, well, you're a
Mm-hmm.
woman, you're pregnant, you're petite, and you're using a standard mouse, and you click your mouse
Mm-hmm.
3,000 times a day. So
Yeah.
I would rather go. Let's all just use a vertical mouse. Like that,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be great as a prevention? Because once you've got your injury, it's really hard to cure you. Like a lot of people think, okay, I'll fix it and I'll get back to
Mm-hmm.
100%. But often they don't. They might get back to, say, 80 or 90%,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
they might still have a lot of pain and they're in chronic pain. So I guess
Mm-hmm.
that's another reason why I want to get into injury prevention. Well, I have
Mm-hmm.
been, but I want to educate more because I know that it's much easier to prevent an injury than to try and
Mm-hmm.
fix it once you've got it. So once our spines are all
100%.
fused, it's very hard to fix them. So yeah, let's prevent that. Let's stop that. I mean, I'll be
Yes,
in business for years.
everyone get vertical mouses and neck stands
Yes, please. Yeah, a
and
vertical mouse.
adjustable
So
desks.
exactly, height adjustable desks, height adjustable
Hmm.
chairs. But I mean, radically, I would love to get the vertical mouse into schools.
Hmm.
But we could just start with a normal mouse, because that, like I said, that automatically improves posture. I'll try for
Yeah.
vertical mice when people get used to the idea, I think. But
Hmm.
that would be, like I send my 10-year-old with a mouse. So I've got, like, you can have different colors, and they sort of light up, so it's sort of a bit of a novelty. So the kids are like, "Oh, this is
Oh
fun,"
yeah, they love it. Yeah,
and they
I
don't
love
know they're
that.
being, yeah, yeah, they don't know they're being ergonomic. So I'm like, yeah,
Hmm.
take this, colorful mouse, and they're improving their posture. So I'm pleased about that.
Hmm. Well, that was like everything we've said today is such good information. Like it's so like yeah, thank you so much. Like I've
Oh,
learned I've always
no worries.
learned something new, and I have learned a lot of new things today. So I'll
Good.
wrap it up a little bit with what are you
Okay.
excited about next? Like what's your next thing that you're working on that you're excited about that you'd like to share?
Yeah. Yes, so I'm excited to get into school. I really want to get ergonomics, and spine health into the curriculum of every
Mhm.
school in Australia. Like it's a big ask. But like you said, when you're at school, did you get any
Oh.
ergonomics education? Did you learn about your spine? Did you learn about how
No.
to use a computer? No, nothing. And still they're
Mm,
getting nothing, right?
mm,
And they're starting them at 4 on a
yeah.
tablet. So I want to get that into the curriculum. I want so basically just getting into the schools. I'm going to start with primary schools because that's where my
Mhm.
kids are, and
Mm.
then I want to work my way into high schools, and then into the universities. Like I'm sure they have nerd neck as well. So we
Mm.
need to
Yeah.
just spread the word, keep doing this, Nicole, because it's really really helpful for everyone. So yeah, just keep educating, keep talking about it, keep bringing awareness,
Mhm.
it's for our kids really. So we
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to
100,
we need to
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
So thank you so much for today. It
Oh,
was
no
honestly
worries.
like so like honestly so like informative and so yeah, a lot of information that will help a lot of people.
Good,
And yeah, that was yeah, really, really nice to meet you, Ali, properly.
good.
And
You too.
and
Yes,
it's
thank
a little
you.
what time is it in Australia now?
Yep. Oh, 7:45,
Oh,
nearly bedtime.
okay.
The kids,
Hmm.
yeah, the kids have gone back to school just this week from
Hmm.
their big holiday, so it'll be a long week because they're very tired. So
Oh, has it
yeah,
been?
it's
Oh, Christmas. Oh, they've just come back from Christmas holiday.
yes, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So they've
oh,
been off since
wow.
December. Yeah, big,
Oh, wow. That's a really
yeah.
long
So
holiday. Oh, wow.
I know,
Australia's great.
I know. I know, but it's just hard for the parents, right?
Yeah,
Because we've
of
been
course.
working all of
Yeah. Yeah.
January and trying to
Hmm.
juggle, and that's when I find the screen time goes up when
Yeah.
you're trying to work. But look, it's
Hmm.
you look at the bigger picture.
Hmm.
You use screen time for pockets when you need to get things
Yeah.
done, and it all works out.
It's best to do it correctly with the neck stand and with all of the items that
Yes.
we spoke about today.
And I love the new the carbon fiber one. Like how
Oh.
lightweight is it? It is so, because I've got them both here. So this is the that's the comparison. It's gorgeous. It's just, I love it. Like yeah, it's brilliant. I'll put that in my my kid's backpack tomorrow, and yeah, it's really good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, everyone, if you don't have one already, either go to Ali's or the Next Stand bio. But you have a link as well, don't you, Ali, as well, for Next Stand?
Yes, I'll get a link.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, I'm not sure if I've got one, but I will
Oh,
because
okay.
yeah, I was
Okay.
trying
We'll
this one out.
sort
But
it out.
yeah, but it's got the lovely like the rubber like so nothing moves, so it's
Mm.
it just stays on your desk beautifully. So yeah, very very impressed. I didn't think you could do any better than the first
Uh,
version, but then they come out with this new version. I'm like, oh, it's
yeah,
even
it's
better.
super light. It is light. It is like very,
Oh,
very light. Like I barely notice it in the suitcase.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
that's
well,
good.
thank you so much for today. And
All
I hope you
right,
have a nice
thanks,
evening and a
Nicole.
really good weekend. And thank you everyone else
You
for watching.
too.
And we will make this, obviously we'll publish this after for everyone. So thank you so much and have a
Wonderful.
nice day.